just one final question. On the issues of publicness and not publicity, taking community art, whether it's theater, whether it's visual arts, whether it's music, into a larger platform, into a bigger platform, a bigger public sphere. Do you feel, and that's because that's the debate now, is why take community art out of its locale and present it on, let's say, the National Theatre or Broadway? What are you trying to achieve? Is it still community art? Is it not just commercial now? What are your thoughts on the issue of publicity in terms of bringing issues out and getting them to a larger public sphere?
I understand the suspicion of community art that feeds into large-scale commercial art, and the suspicion sort of seems to come from two different directions. And one is, sorry, the suspicion of mainstream, established, institutionalized culture. You know, the high art, for want of a better term. You know, the suspicion of people who expect of art the highest possible aesthetic standards and achievements in terms of professional excellence or creative innovation or so on, or whatever the other phrases are, but that community arts is somehow not as good. You know, it's not bad for a bunch of amateurs, but on the other hand, why should they be sort of presented on a professional stage? So I'm aware of that perspective, and I'm also aware of the other side of it, which is, you know, if community arts ends up sort of touring the world, then somehow it's kind of sold out from its grassroots engagement and has become a commercial product that's just another way of selling tickets. And I think they kind of reflect each other. There's a sort of a parallel inverse snobbery going on in a way that, you know, somehow or other having an international presence is compromising your position. I think, for me, I think the more that community arts can engage with other artists and audiences internationally, the more effective it will be, not just in terms of, you know, having a broader social impact and raising consciousness of social issues and possibly therefore supporting active citizenship and social action, but just that it's about exchanging creative ideas and with as many people as possible, and that's a good thing. I think it's a problem for me when it becomes exploitative. One of the things about community arts projects, particularly in a context where some of them are fairly heavily funded, is it struck me from the beginning of my engagement in Northern Ireland particularly, that when there's a lot of funding behind a project, and or it's touring, and or it's selling tickets, and maybe, you know, full houses, that there is no justification, from my point of view, of community artists not being paid. So, although they may be beginners, although they may never have done it before, although they may be telling their story but learning a lot in the process, if there is a lot of money behind it, then to me it seems exploitative if the people who are actually making it and performing it, and the people that people have come to see and to listen to their stories, are not getting any money. You know, I mean, on a simple kind of level, if it's just a way of getting cheap actors, and as is sometimes the case in an area where there isn't very much professional opportunity, you'll have a community project where a lot of the participants might be aspiring professional actors who don't have any other opportunity or outlet. You know, and so you go, right, okay, well, if there was any professional work, these guys would be getting paid, but because there isn't, they're coming in as community participants, so therefore we put on a show, we have X amount of money behind it, and we sell some tickets, and yet we give them nothing. It's like, is this just another trick to rip off actors? You know what I mean? Like, any time there's, you know, limited funds, it's the actor's pay that gets cut first, and almost never the producer. But for me, as long as people who deserve to be paid are getting paid, and as long as what's happening is that international cultural exchange or a national cultural exchange, then this is a